Very good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of ISACA Mumbai chapter, I welcome you to this knowledge session on red teaming, Mitre attacks, and practical demonstration of mouse jacking. So, basically, red teaming and mouse jacking represent two critical aspects of modern cybersecurity. And we all have been using wireless mouse, and with that using use of wireless mouse, also people can the hackers can introduce and have access to our system. So that's the vulnerability of using wireless mouse. So we have with us today Yasir Arafat Sheikh. I'll just briefly introduce him and then we'll move on to the session. So Yasir is a BSc IT, has done CSAM, Certified Information Security Manager from ISACA, is a certified red team operator. He has done Cisco Miles 2, OS CP, it's offensive security. Then CCNA, that's certified in network security specialist. He's a certified ethical hacker, certified EC Council instructor, certified threat intelligence, certified in penetration testing. He's the chief technology officer of McAfee Technologies Private Limited. Yasir is a highly decorated cybersecurity trainer, recognized as the best cybersecurity trainer in 2018, and two-time recipient of EC Council Instructor Circle of Excellence Award for the year 2021 and 21-22. With extensive experience in training law enforcement agencies, Yasir has successfully trained various batches of Maharashtra Police and has been invited to speak at numerous national level conferences on cybersecurity. He is also an active corporate trainer specializing in web and network penetration testing and is continuously learning to enhance his skills. Yasir's expertise in the field has earned him recognition from various news channels such as News 18 and ABP News, as well as national level newspapers such as Midday, Deccan Herald, and many more, where he has been featured in articles on cybersecurity. With his exceptional knowledge and ability to communicate complex concepts effectively, Yasir is a trusted resource for organizations seeking to enhance their cybersecurity measures. So with this introduction, yes, Yasir Bhai is here. Just make you presenter, Yasir Bhai. Thank you for being with us. And over to you for the knowledge session.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. Thank you so much. And hi, I welcome everyone for this informative session on red teaming and the mouse jacking part. Just let me share my screen. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay. So we'll be starting like the aim for today's session would be like I'll be giving you an overview about what exactly the red team engagements are, how an organization can proceed with the engagements. With that part, I'll be talking about the basically Mitre attack. So 90% of the red teaming person or people, they follow those attack tactics while performing any testing activities into the organization. And later on, as a practical demonstration, I'll be demonstrating you about how a mouse can be used to hijack a system, or mouse can be used as a potential target for the attackers. I'm sure like many people would be using a wireless mouse for their day-to-day activities. So moving forward, this is like the introduction already. Murtaza sir has already given.
Yasir, can you make it full screen mode? Yeah. Some people have joined from mobile as well, so it will be good for them to see.
Good.
You have to swap the display. Swap the display and display settings.
Display settings.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Now we can see good. Thank you.
Okay. So basically, what I'll be doing is like I'll be covering these topics. So we'll be talking about the red teaming, what kind of engagements can be done in the red teaming activities, with the part like what exactly the red team focuses on. That might be clearing all your doubts regarding the pen testing activity we carry out. With that, how different the red teaming is, and we'll be talking about the Mitre attacks. So like why it is important and what all things it has been covering out in that part of attack vectors. And the last we'll be talking about the mouse jacking. With that, moving ahead, we'll be showing a practical demonstration of how a mouse can be a potential target. Now let's talk about the red teaming. Red teaming is basically a multiple ways of approaching the organization wherein the tactics, techniques, procedures it's been combinedly used to emulate, or you can say to test an organization into the real world threat actors or threat vectors, you can say. To there should be certain objectives, so the goal should be measured out what an organization's goal is to perform that activity. It can be performed on people, it can be performed on process, as well as it can be performed on technology. It is the core, like why this red teaming should be done is the objective can be defined by the organizations, what kind of infrastructure they are handling. The objectives can differ from different organizations. Might be some organizations would be in fintech, some organization would be in banking, some organization would be in pharma. So each and every domain would be having some critical elements into their organization. So that organizations have to list down the process, what exactly the core thing is there to protect from the outsider or the insider threat. And then the objectives has been defined from the red teaming part. So what exactly red teaming it does is basically challenge the conventional test method that has been done throughout the organization right now. Mainly coming down to pen testing, we all think that we have done the VA part into the organization, we have done our PT on the organization infrastructure, or it can be on organization application, it could be internal, external, whatever the application could be. You have done the assessment and the pen testing both. You have deployed the proper patch management, but still, why do we do the red team activity? So basically, the very basic difference between a red teaming engagement and VA and PT is like VA and PT are scope oriented. Like you would be signing a lot of SLAs, a lot of NDAs, and you will be giving the testing company or testing resource the, you can say, the IPs to be tested or the host to be tested out into the infrastructure. But in red teaming, your whole organization automatically becomes the scope of work. It could be your physical security, it could be your domain security, it could be your asset security, it could be your network security, it could be your web application security, or internal applications, or thick client or thin client, anything which is the company is operating on. So it involves a wide variety of things that can be performed during a red teaming activity. So with that part, what it does is basically the first thing is the tabletop exercise. It is basically an activity where a key individuals walk through the simulated situations to answer. Like I can actually say, let's assume that you are a CISO, or you are a project manager, or you are someone who is responsible for taking care of the infrastructure of the domain or infrastructure of the organization. So the first activity what comes into your mind is, let's check whether where the problem lies, or which kind of problems lies at which positions. So if you're dealing in the network security, so you'll be taking a walkthrough on the network, like, okay, fair enough, let's check, let's start from the devices what we are using, because 90% of the network attack happens from the networking devices itself. Then you will come down to, okay, fair enough, you have check the networking devices. Now you will come down to the systems you are using the network. It could be your printers, it could be your, not only your computer, but all the external elements, talking about like your printers would be there, your wireless devices would be there, and many other things which will coming down to your infrastructure. So you'll be taking down a walkthrough of it, you'll be examining it, and you'll be taking out, okay, fair enough, let's say your organization is dealing with cloud infrastructure. So cloud infrastructure, in the cloud infrastructure, it is very important to safeguard your key, that is the SSH key what you have been using to connect to the cloud network. Now, how you can protect that SSH key? Because once your SSH key is being compromised, definitely your whole infrastructure is compromised directly. So you follow a lot of, you can say, the encryption methodology, the keeping of the files, the keeping of the creating a safe vault to create save the passwords, or even the and sometimes the key that could become containing your public and public and private keys both. So you will be exercising that part, and you will be pointing out, okay, fair enough, these are the potential points where a physical attack or real-time attack can perform. Second is the physical attacks. See, every infrastructure, every office would be having a physical workspace, some or the other place. You talk about any medium scale organization or even the large scale organization. Work from home, it has been happening, but how it is happening, what all things you should be measuring out over there. Ultimately, if you are giving a right now after the COVID, like work from home environment has been on the boom, hybrid work environment is there, so you have to take care about your physical security and physical attacks, or like where your office is, how your building is being operated, your elevators in it, whether it is working properly or whether the elevator can be hijacked or not. That is the thing. Then human attacks. Basically, this is the basic and the most successful, you can say, attack vectors. Human are tend to make mistakes, and that is where social engineering, manipulation, and all those things comes into the picture. Whether it can be a phishing attack, or it can lead to you are leading your private information in any of the public places or something like that. You're operating or you're working from any public places or using public networks, you are doing your work from home activity or something like that. XYZ things comes into the picture of that part. And the cyber exercises, that is the main thing, that comes wherein the red and the blue comes into the picture. That is the attack vectors and the defense vector are being really being tested together. Then the last is full cyber scale operations. After performing all those things and collecting the information, then you perform the whole red teaming activity as an outsider or as an attacker. What all things you can perform into the organization, how you can perform it. I'll give you a case study of it. So I won't name the organization, definitely. So there was an organization working into the banking sector. They wanted to go ahead with the red teaming activities. So they hired a company. In that company, what they did was the company hired a professional red teamer. He applied a job in that banking firm. He got selected in that banking firm. This took the whole 3 months of process. He got access to the host. Ultimately, as an employee, he got certain access from the bank itself. And as soon as he got the access of those critical information or that part, he started doing the insider attacks in the banking organization. From the host system, he started infecting the other host that has been there. He started bypassing the firewalls. With that, he tried to get into the data controller of the organizations. He went there. He actually got all the credentials of all the employees working in there. He performed a huge scale of phishing attacks, got their more like got their personal details out of it. And then after the 3 months or 4 months of time, there was a whole report coming out with all the details of the banking organization, including their the account number, the money they are carrying, in fact their password, the physical password of their systems, the physical password of their SQL databases, and all those things, their servers. You can say the whole organization was kept on white and black paper, that this was the thing that we have performed, and this all things have been came out uh, into the picture. Now, the reason was not that the tester is not he is not having an intention to frighten the organization or something like that, but he actually gave them that, yes, as an insider process or as an insider, these are the permissions that can any executive, or these are the things that any executive can perform, which can lead to huge data loss. And if it comes out into the market, or By any means, if any attacker comes into your organization by following this process, the organization can be at a very huge loss. And especially coming down to the banking environment, definitely the whole bank can collapse with that part. RBI leaving out a huge, you can say, fines on it. The customer's data is on risk, and many, many, many more things. It will be coming up. Then the next part we'll be talking about the engagement process. This includes basically compromising the application network, stealing data, uh, targeting specific people like C-level executives, or even checking the challenging the securities that have been implemented into the organizations, and many more. So the engagement and planning comes with 5 steps. The first is the engagement and planning. That is basically why you should be engaging into the red team activity depending upon your organization needs. The second is the cost and the funding of that project. That is basically the most important thing, because red team engagement does not come at a very handy price. It comes with a very high budget, or with having a lot of permissions of it. So you have to put go through the cost benefit analysis, like how well this engagement will help the organization. Then you set out the scope, wherein which part of the organization you want to go ahead with the red teaming engagements. It could be physical, it could be your infra, it could be a only network, or it can be only a web application. But depending upon those, the duration has been put out, that if it is a small engagement activity targeting only various few infrastructure or few parts of the organization, it could take up to 2 to 4 weeks of time. And the last is the intent, what exactly the output would be, or why the organization is trying to perform the red teaming activity. The intent is been defined, and the sensitivity has been kept out over there, like what all people, who are the people responsible to handle this activity, who are the people who will be getting the reports of this activity, and especially what part of the organization is being attacked. That is the most important part. So basically in this part, what happens is, like, there are various guidelines that has been come through. So NIST is one of the best framework, which every red team organization, or the person who is doing it could follow that part. It is like basically asking the questions, what exactly the current cybersecurity posture of the organization is, what could be a potential target or target state in the cybersecurity domain of the organization. Then he will be identifying and actually prioritizing the opportunities for improvement within the context of continuous and repeatable process. That is the another part. Then he will be actually trying to access the progress towards the target, like he will try to attack the target and try to get the information from the target, and many times doing privilege escalations or something like that. And then there would be uh, I'll be taking down the questions at the end of the session, so you guys can just write down the questions, and definitely I'll be taking the questions at the end of the sessions. Let me complete my thing. We'll be having a long 15-20 minutes discussion out of it. Then the communication among the internal and external stakeholders, that as I told, like the people should be involved. Like this red teaming engagement cannot be done at a consultant level at all. You have to involve C-level executive. You have to involve you have to give a dedicated project manager to perform all these activities, because the person who will be there, he'll be directly communicating that these are the critical infrastructure, or information that has been exposed. So the C-level executive have to take a immediate decision, or immediate decision should be made for doing the patch management or something like that. How to stop that attack into the further in the future. So this basically, the left side of the image is basically giving the part of which the VAPT and red teaming engagements have been done. So if you see, every organization has to understand the ability to identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover against the threats. That this is like we call it PDRR. That is protect, detect, respond, and recover. This this part, every organization does it into their infrastructure. Every, be it a small scale organization or be it a large scale or big fours or any organization I'm talking about. So this is the comparison between the vulnerability assessment. What vulnerability assessment does is the identify and try to protect the infrastructure about from the identified vulnerabilities that is being done. On the other hand, penetration tester, it basically go ahead one step ahead, and it what it does is basically try to exploit the infrastructure or the program, and then it will deploy the patch management or something like that on the exploited systems. Whereas red teaming is the continuous activity. It is like it will identify it, it will protect it, it will detect it, it will respond to it, it will recover it, and again do it the first step again. That is identification. It is the recurring process again and again. You have to identify the timelines. I think so. There is some disturbance coming from someone's mic.
Yeah, just noted. Continue. Yes, sorry for the interruption.
Yeah. So red teaming is the continuous process. It's just the matter of the time wherein how well or how often you want to perform this activity. It's again purely depends on the infrastructure type. If it is a banking, we it is recommended every 3 months. If it is pharmaceutical, again it is come 3 months of time. But if it is something which is not dealing directly to the public or an e-commerce website, then definitely that could be done within 6 months. But at least 3 to 6 months is an ideal period of time you should perform a red teaming activity. That this because this engagement itself will take you another 3 to 4 months or 6 months sometimes. So you have to do this activity again and again, and this will give you an idea about how, if you are doing a vulnerability assessment only or if you are doing a penetration testing only, then what all things you are missing out. But once you perform a red teaming engagement activity, then the whole infrastructure or the whole organization is been covered out in that part. Coming down to Mitre attacks and tactics. This is basically the best approach exactly for an organization. They can actually safeguard their organizations you following these approach. So basically what it does is basically first of all is starts with the initial access. Basically this would be the tactics that represents the you can say attack vectors or advisories to gain access or initial foothold within the organization. Now that it could be a network, it could be anything. It even many of the times I've been to a data center wherein you are not able allowed to carry external pen drive or something like that. That is the how their checking mechanism goes through. But in the red teaming engagement activity, that is also been considered as a potential target wherein you can take an external device into a data center out any way possible to it. It could be a wireless hijacking tool as well. It could be not only copying the data, but yes, hijacking also. He can leave out some external Wi-Fi's wherein he can connect to it later on. He can create a fake hotspot or something like that. Many things that can be done within the organization if you allow to carry an external device into the organization. That is what initial access is. How you are going to get into the organization. Then the execution. It is basically the techniques you will be using to attack the machines or the organization. It should be threat controlled. It shouldn't be like you are hampering any organization's infrastructure or production server that might lead to huge loss to the organization itself. So where you are executing those kind of attacks, that is the another major sector where you need to focus on. Then once the execution can be local as well as the remote. If you are like I gave the example, a person getting into the organization and doing XYZ activity, plus like you can compare it with the external threat vectors or external attacks that can be done into the organization. Then the persistent itself is the process like doing again and again and again and again. That is why it is called as a persistence, you can say persistent attack. You have to perform those things again. You need to check the configurations that have been done on the systems lately, whether the patch or the update that has been deployed into the infrastructure has been done properly. Now, when is the next update? Whether it has been auto scheduled or not. If it is auto scheduled, then which permissions it has been taken from the organizations, or which permissions it is taking from the network, or which permissions it is taking to the host. That is where you can actually put out your persistent activity. Now, these the first three things what you have gone through, that will only give you access to the user level. But to perform a good penetration testing or red teaming activity, you have to get a admin level of access, or the elevated access to the network or the host. So that is why the privilege escalations come into the picture part. So you have to, after the three parts has been done, you have to perform privilege escalation to check whether you are allowed to do it or not. As a user, is there any local or any application that has been running on the administrative rights that could be exploited as a user? That is why privilege escalation has been kept out. And then comes your defense evasion. Now here the role of your antiviruses, your firewalls, your EDRs, that all things comes into this defense evasion. In this segment, like a red teamer should be an anonymous part. He shouldn't be getting caught by your SOC team or by your firewalls or by your antivirus. So now the red teamer will start challenging your defensive mechanism part. He will try to bypass your antiviruses. Starting from the antiviruses, he will try to bypass your firewalls with that. If he succeeds with that part, he will try to bypass your EDRs, putting out some, like taking the most common ports what you have analyzed during the first phases. He will be using common ports, common services like port number 80 and 443. Normally these port numbers are being left out in every organization to just to access the internet. So he will be trying to covert his payloads or shell codes through these port numbers. Once that has been done, then definitely he will move on. Just like let's say the attacker has been access to your particular host machines only. Now after doing all these activities, now he will be trying jumping onto another machine, so you can say pivoting part. He will be doing a lateral movement within the networks, and then lateral movement within the applications. So now he will start getting the credentials, try to get the credentials of all the other people who have been using the same network or the applications. He might, if he's lucky enough, he can get the credentials of the high-end users, like the main person who is operating or handling that application or the network. Once that has been done, he will start again the discovery process. Now what all like what all assets of the company is been discovered to this particular person. Let's assume what all assets has been discovered to the CISO of the organization. Let's check that if that application or if that credential has been compromised, then he will act as a CISO into the organization. He will be performing certain activities. He'll again perform the lateral movement within the organization, and definitely this time the lateral movement will be going up to the DC level, like data controller level. All the information that has been collected, again he will be collecting all the information out over there. He will be keeping everything, every information, sensitive files and everything, he will be keeping in one place. Now he will going up to the last phase, that is exfiltration. Basically now he will be coming down and sitting with the organization, with the C-level executive. Now he will be telling, okay, fair enough, these are the credentials or these are the parts of the organization that have been compromised by us. Now let's talk about how we can stop these attacks. Secondly, let's talk about how we can safeguard your infrastructure or organizations from the future attacks, future similar attacks. So now the organizations will sit and talk and resolve the issues, or it will remove the threats that has been coming within the organization or from the outside the organization. So all these things has been coming out into the Mitre attack, and the attacker who is doing it, he will be following all these rules. He would have built a blueprint of the organizations and everything, so that he can, whenever he is giving the presentation or talking to any the board executive or the stakeholders of the company, then definitely he'll be talking about the critical infrastructure that has been exposed. Now they will be talking about, yes, okay, fair enough, these are the things that have been already been exposed. So let's prioritize, like which is the most critical part. They will be doing P1, P2, P3, and P4. Let's segregate that part. I'm talking about the level of the threat or the level of the incident that has been able to correct, or the credentials he have got access to. All those things, once that has been done, the whole organization has been sitting out over there talking about the patch management, deploying about the patch management, upgrading their infrastructure, and many more things. Now once that upgradation has been done, then definitely again it will start again with the initial foothold. It will again start testing the latest part of what all the patch management activity has been done, and now they will check it. Okay, fair enough, whatever the solutions that we have talked on, it has been deployed properly. Now all that the vulnerabilities or the weakness or the loopholes that a red teamer have used, that has been closed down. Okay, coming down to the mouse jacking part, it is very interesting topic. I'm sure like you will enjoy this part. Basically it affects the majority of the wireless devices. Many times, once you if you have seen the dongle of the wireless keyboard or wireless key mouse, it does not act as a storage system which normally a PD or something like that acts. If you insert a pen drive or an external hard drive or something like that, it will open as a storage device. But once you insert a wireless keyboard or wireless mouse, it does not act as a storage device. Now, how does the computer identifies it? That is the first question. How does the computer identify it? Is whether the USB what you are entering to the computer, it would be what is the USB type? Whether it is a storage device or it is some other part. So it whenever you 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 connect to I'm specifically talking to the wireless devices that works on RF frequencies, not onto the Bluetooth is you have to pair the device. I'm talking about the USB device wherein there is no Bluetooth connection, but an RF signal is being used for transmitting the data from your mouse to the system. So that time it connects as a peripheral device. It acts as a keyboard or mouse. So whenever you normally also, if you use a USB keyboard or mouse, it does not show you, it does not ask your permissions. It automatically executes it and take itself as a input device of the computer. So that is why basically a radio transmitter, whatever which you are using, it is been easily been transmitting your clicks. It has the permission, it has certain permissions out of it. You can actually type something into the keyboard, you can actually click something into the machine, you can actually double click it and try to execute it something. So with that part, what we can do is like we can actually hijack the signals happening through the from the mouse to the system. That is called as mouse jacking. It is very simple. Hijacking the signals between that has been communicated between the system and the mouse. That has been done. Now, how often you can do it? It is very easy. If you ask me, it is. I'll show you the device. Let me see. Yeah, I hope everyone can see this device. This is basically a crazy radio, we call it, and you get it into $15 on Amazon. That's it. With this part, there are other. This is the very small device what I am talking about with respect to the topic what we are doing. But yes, it is only $15 device, and similar to this device, there are various other devices that can be used for it. Now, what does it actually does? If you see the image below here, it is basically whenever any click is been done, whether the left click mouse button or the right click mouse button, it goes mouse transferred into the unencrypted RF packet, which has been talking to this dongle itself. This is the dongle of the mouse. It will be talking to this dongle. And now if this dongle is vulnerable, definitely your mouse or your system can be compromised. That is the case. I'm 100% sure people have gone to the Amazon sale and got a cheap wireless mouse into the for using their purpose. It could be 300, 400, 500 rupees. The reason for it, if you if the Logitech company tries to upgrade this dongle, it will cost them more. So the idea behind the sale is basically to sell it to the people who does not know how vulnerable this mouse is. Many times this will be coming as a freebies to you. We Indians like a lot of free things. So this might be coming as a free will. Okay, sir, you buy this laptop, this wireless mouse has been coming for you free of cost. It is hardly costing, this mouse would be costing around 400 to 500 rupees in on Amazon. Right now also it is on sale. The actual price is 1500 rupees, but just because this they cannot upgrade this firmware right now, they're selling it for the 500 rupees. The mouse is already there in the market, so that there are potential targets already there in the market. It is just the matter that your organization shouldn't be using this mouse. You should be aware of it. So that is the thing. So now what happens is like, if this mouse is communicating to any device, I can use this crazy radio part. I can try and send the packets, unencrypted packets, molded, whatever I want to try, execute it onto the system. So let's say I want to turn off your firewall. So what I'll be doing is, okay, with this dongle, I'll be sending a commands, list of commands that would be executing something on the system. Now with that part, what will happen is I will try certain commands, sending commands with this part and telling this dongle, okay, open the PowerShell, write this command as it is already connected as a peripheral device. So it has the permission of mouse as well as the keyboard. So it has the permissions to write it also. I'll write certain commands on that system, sending through this dongle, and it will execute it onto the victim system. The best way to like these kind of attacks can be generally done when the organization is using a lot of wireless devices. So what I'll do is like I'll show a demonstration out of you guys, like how this basically uh, just let me turn on the other system so that we should the demonstration. Now I will attach this dongle to the remote system or my laptop or the laptops what an organization or the system what organization would be using. Now once this laptop device has been connected, I have to minimize this now. Okay, let me just check. I'll just remotely connect that device and then I'll show you the demonstration part. Six, and I'll be connecting through a tool that is 386. Yeah. So what I'll be doing is just opening a PowerShell over here, and I will close it just to make sure that I'm being connected to it. Yes, it has been opened. Okay, fair enough. I hope everyone is able to see the screen.
Yes, we can see that.
Okay. So what I'll do is like I will keep it on the left side because now I'll be inserting this part to my system itself, because this should be coming into the attacker machine. So it will give me a prompt. I'll connect to my virtual machine, that is Kali has been used for this part. So I've attached the dongle to my Kali machine. Now how to do it? Basically, the crazy radio supports jacket as a tool to transfer or to communicate between the mouse and to search about the wireless mouse that has been existing into the range of that device. Now, if you ask me about the range, okay, fair enough, sir. What would be the range of it? So it could be around 15 to 20 meters, depending on the dongle you are using. If you use a very high range dongle, just like HackRF or something like that, this I'll show you the HackRF as well. Let me see if I'm getting, yeah, I got it. So this is HackRF. Now, if I use this device, this can also trigger up to 100 to 200 meters as well. So it is not necessary that I am sitting very close to you and trying to perform this attack. If depending upon the devices what I am using the range and capabilities could gradually increase it. Now, what I'll do is I'll show you how I've written a code. Basically, a code. This is the ducky code. I'll open it. Now, what exactly this code is doing is, I'm for this demonstration only. I've just prepared a very small script out of. But yes, the scripts can be changed, and I'll show you how you can generate a lot of bigger scripts out there. Now, this is basically a small script that will be transferring or communicated via mouse. I'll just increase the delay time over here. The reason I'm increasing the delay time is many times a lot of systems depend on the timing. You can say the process might take some time. Not every system is fast as my current system. Someone has asked me the permission. Murtaza, can you just
Yeah.
yeah, I've done
Anyone
it.
wants to,
Done.
okay.
So I'll just increase the delay. The reason because is every system should be capable or having some time to perform certain activities. So the reason I'm increasing doubling the delay is because might be my laptop or the system on which the mouse is working. It could be a bit slower than the general devices. Now what I'll do is like I'll remove this part because I want you guys to see what is happening. Hmm. And again, I'll put a delay here so that in between two commands, there should be a delay. Now, if you see what I am doing is like I'm starting the PowerShell as a administrator. This is all. I'm again alt. I'm putting a delay. Okay, to start the PowerShell, the system might take 15 you can say 1500 ms, that is 1500 milliseconds. Then I'll putting the enter command. Okay, fair enough. Then what I'm doing is like I'm giving the command in the string format that net adv firewall set all profile off. So the first command what it is doing is like it trying to uh, like turn off the firewall in of all states. Now again there is another command which set execution policy that is unrestricted of the current user. So the current user firewall, whatever, which means whether it is connected to public network or private network, it will turned off. It will be turned off. So if you see here, I'll show my screen. The firewall is on. Now what our objective is just to check whether this firewall goes off or not. The firewall is on. Now my main objective is without touching that system, I should turn off this firewall. That is my main objective. Copy this to my ducky script. I'll open the terminal. Let's cd jacket. So jacket is basically a tool from I've downloaded from Google itself. So if you see my screen, I just I'll just write jacket GitHub. The first link it is there. You can just copy paste. Now it is giving the list of the wireless mouse that has been infected with this particular tool. So if you are having these mouse, kindly change your mouse immediately. You'll be definitely in big trouble if any attacker is nearby you. Also, there are other mouse as well. So it is not just I'm telling you these mouses. There are list of other mouses as well. But this software or this program has been tested on these mouses. That is the reason it has been 100% displayed out over here. But there are various other mouse apart from this also. Okay. What I'll do is like I'll just do one thing. I'll just copy paste the script into this folder because I have to do it. So I'll just rename it I'll just write fire.txt, copy it, folder, root, jacket, and I'll paste the script over here. Done. For running the scripts, what I'll do is like I'll do sudo jacket hyphen script, and I'll have to give the script file what I have given them. So the moment I do this, it will now start searching out for the devices that has been there nearby. So you see that it has detected my Logitech mouse. What I'll do is like I'll do C and I'll start 1. So the moment I do this, if you see, it is automatically happening it. I'm not doing anything to this. Okay, I have not changed the script in this folder. So what I'll do, I'll run it again. It is happening but it is happening into the background. It is already completed. What I'll do, I'll just change the script a little bit late. I think so. It has gone down. That is the reason it is not being done. I'll show you again. I'll just check the firewalls. You see, the notification got changed. It's just because you didn't saw it onto your screen, but it happened. I'll just restore it again. Let me see the cat fire.txt again. Okay, I have to remove that. I have done it onto my base system itself. I have not changed it into the Kali file. So what I'll do, I'll just change it into here as well. Cat fire.txt, and I have to remove the delay. So you saw this command. Basically, what this command did was whatever it typed into the notepad, it told the notepad go at the end of the system. The demonstration is not on the same machine, ma'am. The demonstration is on the another machine. I'm controlling that machine via Ultra Viewer. Wait, I'll just give me a moment. I'll show you. The demonstration is on this machine. This dongle has been attached to this machine here. It is just like the demonstration for demonstration purpose. I've kept the laptop near to me. That is there. Now delay, I have to just make it to 15. Sorry. 1500. 1500. Here also I have tried to write delay space 1500. 1500. Control X. I'll take down the questions once this has been done. Control X, Y, save it. So now if I see the file, it will, okay, perfect. So again, if you see, I'll just turn off this part. I'll bring it out here. There's nothing opened. Okay, fair enough. Let me run that again. It will take some time to check whether which all possible mouse is there. Again, it took it. Now, what I'll do is I'll hit Control C and I'll select the target as 1 and I'll open it. See this, it is automatically happening. It did something, it closed down. Now what basically this command did was it was trying to get the firewall off. Let's see it. Okay, it is on. It did not work properly. Might be my script would be having some issues out over there. So we can try and change the script and we can do another part. The reason I did it because I wanted to show how you can generate the script and how easy it is the script. So I can go into the duck toolkit. Duck tool, sorry. So if you see this part, this website will be giving you to generate a lot of payloads out of here. So what I was doing is the disabling the firewall part. So I selected it. With that part, other than that part, you can do many more things like getting the computer information, getting the USB information, user information, network scan, and multiple things. So everything what you have to perform, you can select it out over here, and you can select whatever things you want to perform it from here. So if you want to execute it also something, there is something. Does the victim requires any specific code to be open? No, I'll be taking that questions after. Just give me 5 to 7 minutes. I'll complete the practicals and all the questions I'll be answering you. So create payload. I've done the. I'm just putting the delay up to. I can select the delay. Just what I'm typing the manually. I'll just do this, and I'm generating the create payload part. Once that create payload is done, I'll be doing downloading it. So if you see, again it started here. I just don't want to go ahead and make the things too complicated because this will be making a lot of things out over there. What I'll be doing is I'll just again change few of the things. Alt space Y, enter, change config. Or else better part what we can also do is I can actually Google it about the scripts which I want to do it. So if I want, I can tell them the key script for firewall visible. So you'll have a lot of URLs and a lot of things which you can actually check it out, and you can get like you have multiple ways you can actually perform these activities. You have various scripts. You can actually do many things out over here. You whatever you want to perform, you just write on the Google. You'll get the lot of scripts out over it. So you can actually generate your own script. Plus, you can actually follow the resources which has been there, and you can actually perform those kind of. See, this is basically doing the. If it is using the Avast antivirus, you can actually directly disable the Avast antivirus. So many things you can perform it out over here. So now what I'll do, I'll go on to the same the key script. What I did it, I'll just copy paste this part. Let me change it into my nano part. Sorry, I'll save it, and I'll save it with the name as test.txt. I'll run it. Now the only problem is like every now and then when I want to run a new script, I have to eject it, and again connect the crazy radio into my screen. So I'll again perform it. Now this time I'll use the script of test. Control C, 1, enter. You'll see it's starting again. Okay, there's some again error into that. It started notepad other than the firewall. It has to type on the notepad. What are the methods to protect the machines? Okay, I'll come to that part also. Just give me a moment. Nano fire test.txt. Okay, this is the reason it alt y it basically starts the notepad into the system. Enter. I want to just give the delay out over here. Delay 1500. Now, even if this is giving the problem, what we can do is like we can actually Google about how we can turn down the firewall from the Google part, firewall command, PowerShell command. We can copy paste that command into our script. Sorry, I didn't inject it. I have to do it again. Wait. Yes. Okay, Control C. See the other another mouse which is there into my office, that is also been coming up. So it will scan all the mouse which is there into the region, into his environment. I'll do one again. If you look out over here, it again executed something like that. There could be issues in my script, so might be there could be also problem that this time also it is not done. But overall, I think so. You got an idea about how this mouse can be used for hijacking the things. I can actually do many more things to this part if it is not happening, but the time constraint is there. So I'm stopping it right now here. But there are many more things what you can perform. Let me see again. It might be have done. It could have done it. Let's see. No, no, it is not. It has not done it. But yes, it is doing some activity out over there. My scripts might be having some issues with that part. I have to sit out and debug the script again. But yes, this is how you can actually do the control the devices of the other system which is being connected. Yes. Now I'm open to questions. You can ask me the questions again and again.
Yeah. Yes,
Where
sir.
is the
I'll
chat?
just read out the questions which are there on chat. So
Yeah,
firstly,
just
the case study which you shared, about the 3 months thing.
yeah.
So were the activity detected internally by that company? Means they didn't detect it internally. Somehow,
No, they didn't detect it internally. It was the company which was hired when there was a meeting, like there was a project timeline, right? So once the project was about to finish, that time they had a meeting about the discussion that this is the person that has been hired on your payroll. Actually, that person is ours, and that person has been able to do all these activities, being an actual employee of the company.
fine, fine. Okay, and another question about who won the 3 months cost of the resource going for interview and joining process.
That was the company itself. The company was paying that resources on their payroll. So with
Okay, okay,
that was a trick also, I'll tell you. So many companies hire third party resources as well, right?
right, right.
So that guy came into that company via that third party resource.
Okay, fine, fine.
Then that is
So
a case of cyber espionage, right?
Yes.
this particular this particular tool will send RFID packets or something. What
No, no,
exactly?
no. So this particular tool is sending basically an encrypted package format that system understand, because see system, what does system understand? It understand the ASCII values, right?
Right.
It gets converted into the signals, the ASCII values that is been sent it from the click or something like that. So those ASCII values is been sent into the form of RF part.
Okay. Another question: does the victim machine require any specific port to be open at its end,
No,
or it detects normally?
no port. It basically, once you insert the wireless mouse, it already opens a port and connect it through peripheral devices. So there is no external port or internal port that should be opened.
Okay.
That is
So
because you are
and
already
this
internal network, right?
Sorry,
You are already part of the internal network, right?
sir, your voice broke down.
Sorry, I'm asking. You are part of internal network only. Since
Right now, yes. If I'm not a part of internal network, then definitely I'll have to be around you somewhere so that I can hijack your mouse.
no,
That is one thing.
why
As
I'm
I
asking,
told you that,
why I'm
yeah, tell
asking
me.
is because uh, suppose I'm sitting external,
Mm-hmm,
launching an attack,
mm-hmm.
all the IDS, IPS, firewall, everything will come into play, right?
Right. Absolutely right.
Yeah, since this was a case of the non-employee who was on a payroll of a company, the
Right.
guy was lowered because he was working on an internal network.
Right. So in an organization, once you get into the testing part, it is like what you are testing, internal or external. So in this scenario, this it was an internal attack, insider attacks. What organization could have faced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yes, even if you are within range, so the mouse which is connected would be internal, and
Right.
even if you are in a next cabin, nearby
Right.
somewhere, next
Nearby
outside
somewhere.
or outside the office, you would
Yes.
be
Just
still be able
outside the
to
office.
intercept.
Yes. Absolutely. Just outside the office.
Right. Okay, and
Uh,
does this device show specifically, as a separate keyboard or something, the device used to hack?
No, it acts as a peripheral device into your system as well.
Okay, fine. Now another question by Hassan Ali. Is the hijacking limited to wireless mouse, or there are similar devices are available like wireless display sharing, barcode in bedroom, boardroom, or
There was hijacking done on displays as well.
okay. Then. Acha, the question from Sony, like how do we protect us, from such attacks?
See, such attacks, first of all, what wireless devices you are using, that you have to research it out whether those devices or those models of the wireless models are vulnerable or not, or the patch has been like the latest model patch has been deployed on the or not. That is one thing. Secondly, never use freebies into your critical environment. Never ever do that, because freebies, nothing comes free, of course, that is for sure on the internet. You always remember that. That is the thumb and rule. If you are getting something on free, or especially into the electronics, there are flaws in that. That is the reason it is coming out for free.
Yasir, that is why PCI DSS very clearly states that you have to, constantly, at least every quarterly, look for both authorized and unauthorized wireless devices.
Right. Absolutely. That is the reason. After this incident I'm talking about, it was coming from the case study which I gave you. It was done on banking system of US. Plus, this case study was done on power station of US, and the whole that attack happened into a power station, and there was 15 minutes of failure of like 15 minutes failure into the whole city itself. It was a
So
big news. It was
that
a very big news.
it was for Atlanta.
I'm not sure, and I'll definitely not be speaking over here for that part.
Okay. Anyway, if it is a case study, it should have been published. Now, only thing which you were demonstrating is that you were googling out all those things. So it's
Right.
anyway known to both the red team and the blue team. My my question is, if it is known, uh,
Hmm.
whoever are the victims, they did not take those kind of precaution to ensure that the patches are updated, you have whitelisting and so on and so forth. The
So
basic cyber hygiene control.
yeah, I'll tell you. So we also did a penetration like red teaming activities in an organization.
Hmm.
In that organization, they had a policy that whatever the device they are using it into the organization, it has to go through certain checks. Uh, So what happened over there? Like we conducted red team after 6 months. What they have put it or deployed their uh, their infrastructure has been upgraded 6 months before, and we were doing red teaming after 6 months. The reason for this after 6 months was they wanted to settle everything and then they have to perform the red team engagement so that they can know whether the resources that have been deployed or the infrastructure that has been using the systems and all those things, they are up to the mark or not. Unfortunately, it was an unfortunate system. Like they were also the model they ordered and they deployed, it had a flaw into that part. The within 6 months there were various exploits that was coming on to like there were various exploits out in the market. They have prevented and they have patched also those exploits, but due to some error or misconfiguration, we were able to replicate the same exploit, same thing into the like in the form of other methods. That's it. So in this case, what happened is like they actually ordered a new generation of mouse and everything that was happened. They strictly told that no wireless device or no wireless mouse would be entitled to the organization. I told okay, fair enough, we were fine. We inserted a dongle inside their into the system. Internal testing it was. We inserted a system. I hope you would be aware of the rubber ducky and all those things.
Right. Right.
So with the help of Land Turtle, we were able to get the details about their network in within the infrastructure.
Okay.
So
And
it
that
happens.
the dongle that you had already had some exploits in it.
Yes, Land Turtle.
Okay.
Basically, Land Turtle was the agent that was used to get the insider information about the networks they were, the systems they were running into the organization.
And then their firewall did not.
No. So that is the thing when red teaming works, they already know that the security measure have been deployed. So whenever they will be running any exploit, they are well so they will be designing it so well that the your security mechanism that you have deployed onto the organization, it won't detect that.
No, I think here
This is the line title.
here the case is somewhat different because
Hmm.
there are 2 points. You are on internal network. Generally, firewalls are not deployed on internal network. That is point one.
Right.
Second point is I think the security baseline was not done.
Possibly yes.
Installing the endpoints with a secure OS, right? I mean,
Right.
you close all the ports, all the unnecessary services beforehand, and then go ahead and install the
Right.
secured OS. So that is the reason you inserted and the magic happened, I believe.
Right. That is it. And I told no, there was certain misconfiguration inside the network itself.
And they did not have any endpoint detection and security mechanism on that, which will
No,
detect
they
anything which.
had, and they actually caught us also. Their SOC team
Okay.
actually caught us. They caught us.
No, that is the
Okay.
reason we are. I mean, the organizations are now moving from normal antivirus to a EDR actually.
Right.
Correct.
Right. Right.
That's an effect.
Right.
Like CrowdStrike or something you should have.
Outside. But yes, those are also bypassed.
Oh.
We have bypassed those.
Security.
We have bypassed that.
Yeah, security is all.
How did you bypass it using rubber ducky again?
No, 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 no. That was purely internally part. The
Okay.
we were managed to again we were given the internal access of the this.
Okay.
So we ran few of our scripts and our luckily they even disabled the PowerShell into our system. But we actually bypassed that PowerShell policy part and we executed script via firewall. So that was customized scripts what we generated it.
Okay.
It's always a game of cat and mouse. How edge you have.
Yes,
Always.
actually, it is the same thing. How well you are equipped, plus how well you know to use those techniques. That is the case.
All right.
Another question,
Yeah, tell me.
regarding where in organizations where blue and red teams don't exist, how can we showcase the cost benefit analysis of red teaming? Is there an app or tool which could perform cost benefit analysis to
No,
convince the management?
no, the problem here is that if you see, if the organization is small or your organization is not having a big infrastructure, red teaming for them is always would be costly. It will be going above their security budget. 100% I'm sure about it. The reason for it is when you engage a red team, when you try to engage a red teaming activity into your organization, it comes with a huge cost. It is not you give 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 5 lakh rupees of project to any pen testing team and tell them to perform a red team activity. It won't be feasible enough, or even if they do it, they'll be doing it for the namesake. If you want proper red team activity that needs to be performed, so what happens in the red teaming engagement? I told you the person who is doing the scoping the document from the entry point of your building, it will start his scanning mechanism. So not only I'll tell you one more thing. One more case study over here for just limiting this point only. Not always your system could be compromised. Not always. It is not possible because as you told, EDRs and antivirus can be deployed. Now tell me how many companies are deploying security mechanism on the elevator's lift or the elevator.
That's what I was saying. I mean, your card readers, identity card readers.
Exactly. Right. Right. So not red teaming does not have an aim to compromise your infrastructure only. It has way far beyond that your infrastructure. Okay, fair enough. Let's assume there are hundreds of people you are using the elevator, and suddenly your elevator fails in between. It will create more havoc than a digital attack that have been happened into your organization.
I would go ahead and add one more thing here. Uh, Suppose if you are a small organization and you are not able to afford a good red teaming, I would say, uh,
Hmm.
then also there are many breach and attack simulations who can actually do the job in a much lesser cost. I would not say that is 100% foolproof, so that you are never attacked, and so that in the case of red teaming also, it doesn't give you a surety that you will never be compromised. But yes, I mean, the question was a breach and attack. Sorry, the cost benefit analysis. In that sense, the automated one, I mean, a normal subscription can do the job.
Yeah, the normal subscriptions of what your part is. If you are trying to perform a red teaming on an application, then definitely that automated script would definitely give you a good one. But if you are performing the internal assessment, that time yes, 50% of the you can say you can actually manage your threats, but not about that part, because automation would always be deployed onto some or the you can say the databases that has been upload or having like the exploit that have been fed into their databases. But yes, it will reduce it, but yes, definitely it won't give you the proper solutions.
I know there is a good wording in security. I would say here, I not to run fast, and I not need not to be the first in the race.
Right.
I had to be just fast before the last man, right?
Right.
So that he gets compromised. But
You are safe.
yeah, because you do
Right.
not have at the entire budget, you know that, right?
Right. 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 Right.
So business security is for business, and uh, I'm sorry to say, but business is not for security. So
Uh, right. See, Kalpesh, what you have question is, can you use a hardware ID to allow the limited access? Yes, absolutely, you can use it. 100% you use it. But what about the signals that you'll be receiving from the outsider? That you cannot limit it with the hardware device.
Okay.
So I told you many times, one more scenario. Your wireless, 100% everyone we would be knowing about the wireless sniffers. Wireshark, बहुत common tool है. बहुत common tool
Yes.
है. Right? What if using Wireshark also people get good information about your organization and you won't be able to know it? So it is always about what I told you. The first thing is like the place where you are working or your organization. You have to check the security posture of your organization, what security posture organization would be suiting in, and then you will be deploying all the mechanisms what coming out after that.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Speaking about budgets, generally organizations, budget increases once an incident happens.
Right.
Security.
Right. And that time it will cost you more. The reason the incident has already happened, you don't know what all damage that has been done. You won't understand whether still any vulnerable point is left out. Third is, once a red teamer enters into the organization's network, it is very hard or very difficult to find out whether exactly he's still there or not. The reason it is, I told you, it will do in such an easy or such a, you can say, hidden way that your EDRs can also be bypassed. I'm 100% sure about it.
Another question from Vivek in chat. While drafting red team RFP, what are the major activities to be included?
So, sorry, I didn't got the question. Can you repeat?
Yeah,
again?
RFP. Request for proposal.
Achha, request
for
for
red team.
proposal. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Request
major
for
activities to be included in that for red teaming.
yeah, the first thing what you need to do is check your external threats to your organization. That is the first thing. External threat in the sense where your organization is located, your building, your, basically I'm talking about the physical security part. That is the first thing that would be coming out into the RFP part. As I told, this case study, that was the threat was external only, but it became internal while once you signed up for that person. So once this engagement is going on, that is the thing what you are doing, that from where you are hiring your resources, that is the another part. The second thing is like what all tools or what all you can say activities you will be performing inside the network. So it shouldn't, see, these activities are being performed for the betterment of the organization, but while performing this activity, you shouldn't be hampering any production servers. That is the main thing. The third thing is, whenever any attack is being performed or done while performing an activity, it should be done into the closed environment. It should have specific times, it should have specific locations, and all those things that should be mentioned into the RFP itself.
Yeah, that will be kind of clear rules of engagement.
Yes, absolutely. Clear rules. You have to define it, because I told you, if you signed a red teaming engagement, I told you the first commit is the whole organization comes into the scope. The whole organization comes into the scope. Every single person in the organization comes under the scope. So you have to define those scopes properly. And you have to tell. Yes, tell me.
Suppose the rules of engagement are clearly defined, right?
Mm-hmm.
Simultaneously, you also give your requirements to the organization, right? To perform the red teaming, what all you require. And
Right.
that, suppose you have given me that allow this IP in your firewall or IDS IPS to get me into that network, and give me this port open so that I can perform the scans inside the network,
Right.
and then can launch an attack. Given a scenario, this is happening in a production environment.
Okay.
That environment is that environment is already publicly exposed. How do you ensure that simultaneously a next attack is not launched by an adversary where you are performing a red teaming activity inside?
Good question. I'll tell you. I faced a similar thing. I was doing a pen testing on a banking part, red teaming activity on the banking part only. They stated very clearly to me, any attack which you are going to perform, you have to tell us. We will tell you that whether this attack has to be executed at what part. If you are not telling us the attack vectors or what will actually, how the like if anything went wrong, then what could be the you can say the loss for the organization. So before performing this engagement on the production server, we have to intimate that yes, at this particular time, this kind of attack would be possible. So there might be a downtime of your resources for this particular minute, this particular minute or something, this particular time. If that engagement or this management approve that attack, so let's talk about like everyone would be using DDoS protection and everything, right, into their publicly exposed network. I'm 100% sure about it. DDoS protection and everything that would be deployed into an organization. I'm 100% sure it. If you don't, Cloudflare by default give it to you guys if you are using Cloudflare anything any services from the Cloudflare. Now in that case, we wanted to try out whether how much bandwidth on a network your like how much test can your bandwidth handle it. So for that, we have to perform a DOS attack to them, and we have to tell them, okay, fair enough, we will be performing a DOS attack from these internal IPs of your organization, and we want to test it till what is the capability of handling your servers, or whether your load balancers have been deployed properly or not. We will be performing the activity starting from 10 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Within this period of time, you will face certain lags into your network, plus the you can say there might be service delays into your network. So if they allow you that particular time, then we perform it. But many cases, what do they once that might be that time the transactions would be happening, or the organization would be performing certain other activities. So they will tell us very odd or random time wherein the traffic is very slow and the the work process or work hours cannot be compromised much. So we have to perform the testing at the 3 a.m. in the night. That is the query that has been coming. So you have to be engaged with the person. That is the reason I told you one person and C-level executive has to be dedicated to this part so that he can take decisions and he can tell the engagement company that yes, this is the thing, you can perform it.
No, why I was
Yeah, I
asking
think
is
normally
because
in the production environment, there is normally that is not allowed.
Yes, not allowed. Yes,
One, that second thing is that, as you mentioned, rules of engagement have to be clearly defined. Now, these are done normally in off time or during the weekend, those
yes,
type of red teaming.
yes, 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 yes.
And if even if you somebody asks the questions about production, you will not go to the production environment directly. You will go
Right,
into
right,
the
absolutely.
test
Right,
or the
right.
quality environment. If there is a
Yes,
QA environment, that's where you try to get in and first do that. If they find something, then because looking at the production directly, suppose someone says that I want to scan those SAP servers and launch attack on those,
no,
that's absolutely not going to be allowed. They first
yes,
have
yes,
to go
absolutely.
through the test environment or a test bed or the QA environment.
Right.
Keep that in mind.
no, the RBI mandate says that your production environment should be scanned on a regular basis for infrastructure assessment, right? In
Three
that sense,
months.
yeah,
Three
yeah.
months. In 3 months.
No, no, that's 3 months will be very tricky. I mean, we'll be always engaged in the scanning only in that sense.
Right.
But at least in a year, we have to do that activity. But what I'm
Right.
saying is, suppose you have launched the attack.
Mhm.
How do I differentiate in that sense that you have launched the attack and somebody else, external agency, has not launched the attack?
Yes.
I should be able to differentiate it, right?
Right, right.
So
So
that's the
that
reason
is
I
the
was
reason.
asking this question.
Yeah, so that is the reason. Whenever we are launching the attack, we will give you the IP addresses that this are the IP address we'll be using to launch the attack.
Yes, and then the people who are trying to get in from outside, they are not going to tell you we are going from this IP address or we are going to use
Yes,
this
yes, yes.
script and this kind of stuff. Second thing is RBI. I've not read RBI guidelines, but does it call for pen testing? There's a difference
Yeah.
between the scanning and the pen test.
No, it calls out clearly for the pen testing in a production
Pen testing,
environment.
yes. For pen testing,
Right. So if
surely. Especially into the
even
banking
if
sector.
correct, so even if it is pen testing, there is like we have in PCI DSS also similar requirement. One question that you need to ask that before you launch any attack on production, even the pen testing, first do it under the QA environment before you move forward.
Yes, yes. So I'll tell you one recent activity. I'm not sure, like, is anyone there from ICICI Bank? Oh, yeah. Especially into the mobile security, mobile application.
Even if someone is there, he will not say, right?
Anyway,
Mhm.
so this happened around 7 to 8 months back. They were testing the APIs of the application, mobile application. What happened is one incident happened during that. What happened is like the notification, the application sent notification to the users. It was done through an API, and that API got exposed to public, and that API was exploited, and it was used to send n number of notification that was like timely based. So for example, the offers have been released for second, third, fourth of the month, so they have the notification released out that these notification would be released for to the users. Those all notification was released at once, so they were having 4 to 5 notification at once. This was done because they actually tested into the production environment. It didn't
Correct.
cause a huge loss or something like that, but it was like because of the testing that was done multiple times, it was able to trigger the notification multiple times. So generally, an application sends one notification in a day or two maximum. The legit application I'm talking about from the banking, but that time it as it was done on the production server, they sent it notification multiple notification at once only. So it came into very like once the management was aware about it, so there was no huge impact on it, but yes, this was triggered and they told that yes, the customers have faced these kinds of issue.
This must have caused a huge embarrassment to ICICI Bank. Yeah.
So whatever that is their internal, but this happened like 6 to 8 months before only.
Yeah.
Sir, in case of corporate environments where firewalls and antiviruses are disabled and they are only disabled by the admins, so is this ducky script going to disable them in that
No,
case?
no. See, this ducky scripts can only be performed wherein you get certain types of access, like the user is having the access. These
Correct.
scripts won't be performing directly. But yes, if that host has been compromised and the red teamer have already gained access to the admin of that person or that network, then definitely these scripts would be working very fair.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
That's why you need to first take over the
Yes.
admin credentials
Yes. So
when they do the.
it has been clearly mentioned in the PPT. If you go through that PPT part, what I have shown, you'll be finding these whatever talks or whatever questions you have asked me, everything has been mentioned in my PPT. Everything.
Are you going to share the PPT, Yasir?
If you want, definitely I'll share it.
Yes,
It is
please.
nothing. It is public. It is nothing personal in it. I'll
Great.
definitely share it.
If you can send to ISACA Murtaza, that then
Yeah,
we
yeah,
should.
I'll share it too.
Yes.
So what you are talking about, see, here I've actually mentioned it, what all things you have to do it again. And here that part comes, privilege escalation.
Exactly.
And then later on, whatever you're trying to bypass your firewall and all those things.
It's the same thing which with Mitre attack, basically nothing at all. So cyber kill chain from
Yes,
Lockheed
yes,
Martin.
yes, yes, yes,
Pretty
yes.
similar stuff.
Pretty similar, very similar, in fact.
Very similar.
The basic difference between an attacker and a blue team is like blue team always follow frameworks and attackers do not have
Do
a
not.
framework to follow, right?
Right,
They
right,
can
right.
they can work their own way. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, prod infra, I'm not sure about prod infra, Asif.
There's some more question also. Pratik has asked, is there a possibility it gives us reverse shell back?
Yes,
So,
100% possibility. 100% possibility.
So yeah,
okay,
my
so
question was
when you
basically
have the control, you could install something, and then even later on you
Not
can,
installation. Not installation also required. You are able to write something in PowerShell. So what if I just give the command to, okay, fair enough, I generate a payload into raw format and I'll copy the paste the raw payload into the ducky script. It will execute it, 100% execute it.
okay.
Important thing is you should be able to load the ducky script. Once you
Right.
have the ducky scripts, then it's very easy to put all this.
Hmm.
That's the thing.
If like technical sessions, core technical session is required, how you can bypass an antivirus. Fair enough. I can show you that as well. How easily people bypass the antivirus. Antivirus are right now nowhere in the picture that if you can divide on it. But yes, you should have it because it will stop the most common things. But if you're talking about a professional pen tester or something like that, then it is not been done.
I would ask a different question.
Yeah, tell
Suppose
me.
we have college pass out kids, right?
Right, right.
I mean, and we want to get them trained on this aspect.
Mhm.
What do you suggest the starting from scratch? How should they start it actually?
See, as an academic part, if you are trying to attain and get the college students on your board, you're talking about getting the college students into the infrastructure of a cybersecurity company, right?
Yeah, because see, I mean, what I believe is any cybersecurity professional, if he has not got the taste of this red teaming,
Mhm.
at least a bit, will not be able to appreciate the safeguards, right?
Right, 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 right. So
So in
see,
that sense,
what happen in that sense, what I will tell you that always make them work into the sandboxing environment. Plus, if you want to increase their actually, you want to put them put the knowledge inside their head that yes, these are the things that needs to be done. Always make a sandboxing environment in such a way that they should be rewarded for it. For example, let's say they do not tell them that you are they are not working on to the actual project, they are working on to the sandboxing environment. They will take it very lightly because they know that anyways whatever they are doing, it has been not counted. You tell them that this is the, you have a sandbox environment, you tell them that is this is coming from the client end and this is the things that you need to perform. You give them small milestones. Let's say you have created an application wherein uh, at the beginner he won't be advanced enough to understand what, like how you can bypass all those things. Keep the common vulnerabilities out over there and tell them you have to test it within 3 days to 4 days and you have to report it to us in the sandboxing environment. You know it, your management knows it, but they don't know it. So that is the best way to make them understand. They will realize the importance of the you can say the application as well, the testing also, and they will be thorough and they will be very specific to what they are telling and what they are doing. This is what I do in my organization as well. I am normally hire my students, so definitely I teach them, but I teach them like up to certain limit. But yes, after that I pour them on them. Okay, this is the environment what you have got it. Now you have to test it, and these are the major vulnerabilities that you need to discover and get me the result of it.
would it be good to take the subscription of Hack the Box and other
No hack the
stuff?
box is required. Seriously telling, no
Yeah.
hack the box is required. Just hire one good, you can say machine developer for 3 months. Ask him to develop at least 10 to 15 machines for you.
Mhm.
Deploy it into your own sandboxing environment so that you can track them. Okay, fair enough. These are the activities he's been performing. Whether actually genuinely he's doing or not, that will also become you'll get to know that as well.
Yeah, got it.
Some more questions about in organizations where they have antivirus or PC agent monitoring tools or intrusion detection system, intrusion protection system. So managed centrally by the administrator. Will this technique work?
Yeah, so many organizations what you can say 90% of the organization, all these things have been handled by centralized administrator itself. All the organization has been handled in the similar way, Murtaza. But
Okay.
the only issue is like who is the target? That is the main point. Your target, if see, every organization would be having firewalls, every organization would be having administration, every organization would be having user access policy into their organization. The the target is the person who is using that, or the infrastructure what is being used by these persons. That is the only we do it. So we try to target that person. With that person, how well we can communicate and get the administrative rights. That is our own, the major objective is that only. It is
Okay.
not that why we are doing it. Is like who is our target? The target are the end users who are using it. Our target is not the administrator. We also know that 100% the administrator would be technical enough. He will understand what we are performing. He will know 90% of the stuff what we are doing. But who is our target?
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. So what is the name of this wireless dongle which is used to
Crazy,
injection command?
crazy radio.
Crazy radio. Okay.
Wait, I'll show you. It is there on Amazon also. I'm sure. Crazy radio. So
Name and ask this question. Yeah.
yeah, yes, it is there on Amazon.
So what does
That's
it
correct.
do?
Correct. This is the same
Oh.
tool what I used to hijack the mouse. Currently
Okay.
unavailable. It was there. You'll find it many other site as well. Amazon was the easiest for the Indians.
Amazon is easy for everyone. We have a lot of such Chinese products.
Yeah. Yeah, and trust me, you can actually, if a person is coming from the this electrical background or electronics background, he can develop it also. It will cost around 300 to 400 rupees for it. That's it.
Okay. Another question by Kaustubh. So this breach attack simulation, is it same like red teaming or is it different?
Breach attack simulation, you can say it is similar to attack surface vector. It is not the red teaming part.
Okay. Yeah. Another question by Pratik Desai. If you get all IP addresses and firewall rules of a bank, what can be done?
Nothing. Until unless you cannot ping that IP address, you cannot do anything. You have to have the access or certain communication to that IP addresses. Then only you will be able to perform any activity. And banking, these banking IP addresses are basically protected behind some hidden network or ZMC or something like that. You won't be able to directly get connected to those IP addresses from your system at all.
Also they are not physical and actual IP address actually.
Right.
They are virtual IP address and which
Virtual.
revolves behind. Yeah.
You cannot do anything with that part.
You said
Someone asked any question and
Yes,
he
I
got
mean, please, Shamin, please.
you said red teaming is a continuous process. So
right.
does that mean it also includes, I mean, helps you in strengthening the system? So do you give recommendations? And I mean, for example, as you said, in case of a bank, so then how did it end? I mean, the conclusion is that you help the clients, strengthen their systems, etc. Because
Exfiltration, what I was talking about. This is your question. Whatever things we have performed, we will sit on table. We will give you the steps. We will give you the you can say the patch management part. We will give you. We will talk about the threats. What all things we will help you to identify and prioritize also. Everything we will do it. It is just a matter if like for example, if you are talking about the banking, now banking would be having computers. Computers would be the they won't be taking computers from me, right? They would be taking computers from the vendor what they have signed up. Either it could be Dell, HP, anything it would be. They would be having a OS, customized OS many a times.
right.
So I won't be able to provide that. But yes, I will guide them. Yes, these are the things that you need to apply on that host.
But then in that case, as you said, then again you'll perform the same cycle to ensure
Yes,
that the
yes,
vulnerabilities or the weakness has been
yes.
patched.
Yes,
So
absolutely. That
unless
is
so what I understand is that this is the major difference between a pen testing engagement.
exactly
For example, an external testing, they'll just tell you, they'll recommend you. They won't test it.
right.
And
Right. Red
so
teaming is continuous activity.
okay, and
It
then but then does it mean that blue teaming, I mean, is a part of red teaming because
no.
you are trying to help them strengthen the systems,
Mm.
or I mean, how is it
See,
actually, I mean, given in the literature?
blue team emerged because of red team. It
Okay,
is it is very simple concept. The moment you start breaking any infrastructure or something like that, there would be certain defensive approach. Like if someone is trying to hit you, you will be having some defensive approach. First, you will try to hit him by self. First, you will try to protect yourself. If not, then you'll start proactively hitting him back or trying to get some sort of defensive mechanism, right?
right.
So until and unless you don't identify whether you are being attacked or you are being compromised or you could be compromised, the blue team does not exist only with that part. Once you know that yes, fair enough, your firewall EDRs, your SOC is getting somewhere or the other, you are getting compromised inside. You need someone to monitor all those activities. So in future, anything is happening, you'll be identified and all those. Then what all the risk parameters and all those things come into picture that part that time. So blue team is like somewhat they have a work to monitor and update and be on with the security top notch. Like yes, your security should be top. Now red teaming is something. it does not see your type of security. It see, okay, fair enough. Even though your security, you have top-notch security, you have deployed each and every mechanism to it. How we can break that part? That is red teaming.
Yeah.
Shamin, let me explain in a very simple analogy. Terrorists,
Yes,
they
please.
the India border, then you have the border security force. They would work as a blue team. They would not allow those red teamers to get in. That's what how it works. Or if you have it like 2611 that has happened, NSG commandos came in though late, but they were kind of blue team because their job was to protect the infrastructure. In this case, in Mumbai.
So that is the reason after that rapid action force was deployed in Mumbai.
Exactly.
So now they became the blue team of it.
Exactly.
What
No,
I
one
assume.
more one more addition to it, to your question actually. There are in fact three teams. One is the red team who is
There's
no,
a
no, I'm not.
purple team.
No, no, I'm not talking about the purple team actually. I'm talking how to define a blue team here. So blue team is monitoring the defensive infrastructure, right? I mean the IDS, IPS, firewalls, SOC, anything.
So don't you
And
feel that that's an implicit part of a security administrator? I mean, we won't define it that way, but if you look at the system admin jobs, I mean, that is an intrinsic part of his, of his
no,
responsibility.
that is what
What
I
is
want
in
to.
your systems? I mean,
No, no,
whether
that
it's
is what.
firewall or WAF or anything. So I always thought that why to have a different term and why this thing
No,
comes
that is the reason I wanted to draw that difference. Someone
Yeah,
is there to install that infrastructure. It is part of the infrastructure, installing an IDS, installing an IPS, right?
exactly.
And that team is not actually the blue team. Blue
Okay.
team
Yes, that's what,
implements,
yes.
writes the rules basis on the real-time attack scenarios, dynamic conditions. They suggest, but they
So
not be
let
proficient enough to configure
Here,
configure a
let,
router
let
that
can we
me
matter.
say
Yeah.
let
blue
me
So
tell
then
let
it
me
becomes an
SOC
ad
team
hoc.
may be a blue team? Can we say like that?
sorry,
SOC team
a part of blue
can
team,
be a yes, can be a
a
blue
part
team.
of
Yes,
blue
Team is
team,
a part of a blue team.
yes,
part of
yes.
blue team. Yes.
Or your SOAR organization, SOAR or MDR, XDR, they are part of all blue team.
Yes. So, Sharmin, to be more precise, I'll tell you. Like, admin has the job to let's say he has a job to install a firewall into particular network. He has done it. The firewalls would be coming by default configurations of doing some XYZ activities and all those things. Now, let's say you have used the default configurations of like let's say Sonic Wall firewall, widely used in organizations right now, also Sonic calls. That default configurations all did at least 80 to 90% of the job to block all the critical ports, policies, and all those things, whatever things the attacker would be performing.
Okay.
What it does not do is it does not check the kind of attack that your organization is facing. Now let's say you have an internal application which is running on port number 80 and port number 443. That is the most common port number which is being used.
Correct.
By default, those both port numbers would be allowed into the
Right.
firewall. But
Right.
what if the your organization is already been compromised and having a port number 443 open as a reverse shell?
Okay.
Will the firewall block that port?
No.
No, exactly. That is where the blue team comes in. Now the blue teams they will analyze it what exactly is happening on port number 443. It will tell, okay, fair enough. See, these are the legitimate traffics that is being done or going through the network, but this one port, one IP address is continuously taking a remote connection or remote packets is going to this particular IP at particular period of time every time.
More
They
into
will now
that.
try to investigate that port number, and if they find that that port number or that IP does not belong to your infrastructure or not belonging to any of the system, that means that your organization has been compromised.
Right.
Yeah, to
So
summarize,
Yes,
that
sir.
is where blue team comes into picture.
yeah, to summarize, a person with red teaming skills and is playing from your team is a blue teamer, right? Yeah.
Right.
Right. Thank you.
No, I just wanted to say actually that there is a difference between an engineer and actual blue teamer actually.
Right.
I just want to,
big difference. Big difference.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Any more questions or yeah?
We had a good interactive session, Murtaza.
Yeah, of course. Wonderful, very interactive, and you have actually, made us very aware about certain things. I'm sure we all will be going and checking all our devices, our home and office, and this small mouse that we are using, we'll just check whether it's there in the list or not. And so a very informative session, Yasir. And
One question, sorry.
Yeah.
Yasir, when we buy a mouse, right? So I know, depending upon the person who wants to take control of the mouse, his skills, that definitely we can't beat him, right? Now, what are the prerequisites when we purchase a mouse? There are very technical aspects. How do we differentiate these are the better ones to buy, or this should be excluded? Like configuration aspect.
See, the configuration, as I told, not every person would be technical enough to even understand that what model mouse is buying. Right. So it is just the matter when once you are, I'm not talking about the generalized term. See, generalized people, they will go for the best what suits them. I cannot tell them, no, you shouldn't be taking this mouse, you couldn't be taking that mouse. But when it comes to an organization, what happens that they need to, like, organization can afford a person who can actually research about those organizations need. He can actually suggest that, okay, fair enough, these are the models what a vendor has suggested, but yes, these were within these models, these are the vulnerability that has been previously exploited. Please do not go ahead with these models. Rather than these are the suggestions what I am giving you, you can buy those products. That is the prerequisite what I will suggest for the organization who wants to go ahead with the hardware upgradation, or with the like buying mouse or something like that. The second part is not every organization would be buying a wireless device. So this questions won't come. But there are vulnerabilities and flaws that has been on wired mouse as well. Just because they are using the older one. Because see, the main point is not the mouse. The main point is the peripheral and the permission that has been connected to the device. What can be done after that? That is the main question. So technical wise, you have to have a legitimate person or good technical person who can identify it, whether these particular products are good or not. In generalized, it is very common. You buy for the best and the cheap. That is the pure general human mentality. You cannot tell a kid who is going to a college that no, you cannot use this mouse because this mouse would be compromised and this would be blah 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 stuff. He won't even understand. Forget about that kid. You tell these things to a finance department or accounts department. They will also scratch their head on what you are telling. So it is the matter of, it is the responsibility of the organization to keep a person and keep a track. Not just you have, like, normally I have seen an organization how they order. They order like, okay, fair enough. The configuration minimum requirement of the configuration is 10 generation of the processor. We need 16 GB of the RAM. We need Dell mouse. We need Dell keyboard and this, but not specifying the models. Models has been given by the vendor. Okay, fair enough. This is your requirement. Now, these are the models what I am providing. You approve it, I'll do it.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to. Cool, cool. Thanks.
Wired mouse.
Right.
Thanks, Yasir. It was a very good session. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks. I would request our president, Sanjeev Deshpande, to propose a well-deserved vote of thanks and also update about the upcoming events next week. Sanjeev.
Thank you, Murtaza. Good evening, everyone. Sincere thanks for attending this session. And our today's speaker has demonstrated wonderful skills and presented the session in most interactive manner. And I think everyone was kind of pouring, rather the entire session we saw pouring with questions, and he could successfully address those questions. So thank you, Yasir. Thank you for that. And we expect you to come up with many more such interactive sessions, because of such sessions, we come to know kind of the new things, and that we need to actually keep tab on. So definitely such sessions help. So please we will request you and we will welcome you once again. So
Thank you so
thanks
much,
for
sir.
that.
Thank you so much, sir.
So
Thank you.
members, next week next Saturday we are going to have our annual general meeting between 6 to 8 p.m. It's in our office, physical event, and that will be preceded by a session on strategizing your DPDP compliance journey by Jatin Kumar Mode. It will be between 4 to 6 p.m. Okay, so I request you to please join us for both these sessions, the knowledge session on DPDP strategizing compliance, and then we will also be having our AGM, and then there are elections, and your participation in these elections is very important. So please come and support ISACA Mumbai chapter. Okay, thank you very much, and yes, we will meet again in the next meeting as well as online in future meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to you, Murtaza.
Yes. Yeah, so thank you very much, everyone. Thanks, Sanjeev, for the very well deserved vote of thanks, and thanks, Yasir, for the wonderful session. Thank you, all participants. We've displayed the next the knowledge session which is there next week on strategizing your DPDP process compliance by Jatin Moth. So hope to see you all physically next week. And just participate in the feedback poll which is there today. And yes, have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you all.
Murtaza, that the next week's session would be virtual also, or only
No,
in person?
it's only physical. We want your presence for the AGM, so and your support for the chapter activities. So it is only.
I'm sure Ashit is a great supporter of us, so he will fly down from Dubai or US from wherever he is.
I'm in the US myself right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Ashit. Thanks for joining.
Okay.
Just wanted to
really appreciate you. It will be very early morning there, no? So
I started early. Yes, no problem.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all. I was just keeping the session open for some more time. People, those who are yet to submit the feedback poll, kindly submit it, and then you can.
Please share the PPT, Yasir's PPT, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Yes. Sure. I'll share Yasir's PPT as well as I hope everyone's received last week's PPT by
I didn't
Nasiban.
get the feedback poll.
No, it is open.
No, I don't think we got the PPT by email.
Can you flash
Okay, we'll
that
share it.
form
We'll share it
again?
by email as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be very helpful if we get by email. It will be.
Yes. So put on the WhatsApp group. I'll get it.
Murtaza, please try and get my session, maybe October, November.
Yes.
No, I was disconnected. I didn't get the link for the poll.
The poll is open. Like I believe 114 people have also submitted it.
Maybe,
but I had
didn't get the link to
minimized
check.
it and now I'm not able to get it back. Can you do something about
It is
that?
just below
It is
below
open
the
for
chat
another
window.
4 minutes. It's open. I'd open it for 10 minutes. Yeah, so 5.5 minutes done. 4.5 minutes is still open. You can click on poll and participate in the poll.
No,
And
where
it's good
is
to
it?
see today also like more than 160 people joining in. So nice.
I just wanted to understand that AGM. I mean, do you need a separate invite to attend the AGM, or anyone can walk down to the AGM meeting?
Those who are members of ISACA Mumbai chapter as on 31st July, they are eligible to join and vote. Okay, so you're welcome.
No member is 100%. I thought it is a restricted invitation, so that's the reason I asked.
No, all members are invited. It is there for all the existing members.
Okay, got it.
And yeah, we will be welcoming you. Please come.
Sure.
And AGM is followed by dinner. Yeah, preceded
Yes.
by the knowledge session and followed by dinner. So hope to have a wonderful interaction with all of you all.
Sure. Thanks, Murtaza.
Murtaza, just share the feedback to me also, so that I'll improvise myself if
No,
needed.
it's already open. For another 4.5 minutes is open. If you can see at the bottom, you can see polling. It should be there. You can click on that and participate in the poll.
Polling is there.
Around 121 people have already submitted the poll, participated in the poll. Yeah.
So Murtaza, I hope you're done with your ritual of taking photograph at the end.
Yeah, I have to take it.
Send it to me also. Send it to me also.
Yeah, sure, Yasir bhai. Thank you so much, Yasir bhai. Really very insightful, and practical demonstration you have shown. It's been like very nice and so simple to use and so effective.
Very simple, very. But yes, it is quite good for learning part. I can like there are few more things what we can explore into the domain of RF. Right now, I'm more into getting into more into the RF domain, leaving apart the network and the web part. RF is much more, you can say what you think beyond like you can see actually where there is where the privacy concerns lies the most. You try to hijack the telecom signals and all those things. That is really very good place to look out of from the security point of view.
Right. And even maybe like we conduct workshops. So even maybe like if a day or two, if you have some program as in depth, those who want to learn, we can float it to our members and have a workshop
Anytime,
at our
anytime.
chapter.
Anytime, you just let me know when to do. It's just thing I shouldn't be traveling that time. I don't know. Like I'm like we opened in Canada, we opened in Hyderabad, and we opened in Bangalore all once. So too much of traveling right now.
Okay, good. Yeah, thanks. I saw your schedule. Like based on planning today. So thank you very much, especially for taking out your time from this busy schedule for this Saturday afternoon. Thanks.
So the AGM is on 18th, right?
16th.
Coming Saturday.
16th.
Coming Saturday.
Okay.
Coming Saturday. 4 to 6 is the knowledge session, and 6 to 8 is the AGM.
Sure, sir. I'll be
and
there.
followed by dinner. Yes.
Yeah.
There is one question from Vinod. One of the question post of this, Yasir, which organization provides better cybersecurity courses? Wrong. You're asking wrong person, Vinod. Like my institution. We are a cybersecurity training institute as well. So if I tell any other name, that would be quite unfair to my organization. But yes,
Wonderful. We look forward because there are so many institutes these days, right, who do multiple wrapping on the one of the base course and they brand it under the name of the college, and it becomes too difficult for the guys these times make a better selection. And I wasn't aware, to be honest. I quickly jumped onto the session, without going through much of your organization, but that's one of the confusion. And honestly, I'm telling you,
no worries,
they get really carried away.
Yeah, no worries. Listen, so, but one suggestion what I will be doing is like, see, whenever it is not the organization what you are trying to get the information, it is always about why you are getting that certification. It is not always about the certification at all. Certifications right now have been becoming mandatory into the corporate organizations just because there are few requests coming from the client's end. Trust me, I have trained students who are far below par, like even 13 years kid, and he's an excellent guy into the cybersecurity. He had already removed bugged into multiple platforms, that including, I can say, he one of the biggest bounty he has received is from this Intel itself. So it is not that part. The only problem is the one thing you should always check it out before enrolling to any institution, not my institution or any other institution. First is, who is the trainer? First thing. Second, what expertise that trainer is carrying out. Now here, what happens, like people, what people does is like, okay, fair enough, the trainer is having at least 9 years or 10 years of experience, but what kind of experience or expertise is he carrying? Is he right now working somewhere, or he's just a trainer? Now if you put the word trainer, the biggest drawback or setback is there only. If a trainer, you get it, a trainer who has been experienced in the last 10 years and he's just doing CES training, now what do you expect from that trainer? Tell me that. He will be only be giving knowledge to limited to that book or limited to that course. But tell me, a trainer who, like, if I give you a trainer of having 1 year of experience, having zero certification, I'm talking about zero certification, but is working into an industry, into a particular domain, I'll write on blank paper and give you a sign that 1 year trainer will give you more knowledge, more practically oriented part, plus more course oriented knowledge, rather than having a 10 years of experience of trainer.
I agree, definitely.
So that is my one point.
Practical experience that counts at the end.
Second part is like never go ahead with the 6 months, year, 1 year basis. Never ever. Never ever. Now let's assume you took a course of 6 months of, and you took a course of web application, which is probably too much. Too much. Web application can be conducted into 1 month. Good web application I'm talking. Now, if you talk about like, okay, web application would be consisting of, I know more than 250 types of web application attacks. So is it possible for me to perform 250 types of attack and impart it into the child? It is not possible at all. It depends upon the grasping power of the child as well, or the person who is trying to enroll it. So you have to divide it very, very wisely. Don't go for 6 months, 6 months or 1 year, of course. You go for 2 months of training. Give 2 months of training for web, 2 months of training of network. Your 5th and 6th months for the internship. You're in within 6 months, that guy is ready for job. That too, domain-oriented job. If you ask him to perform a pen testing into web application, he will be doing it. If you want to ask him to perform a pen testing into network, he will be doing it. That is what my knowledge and what I personally think, and this is what I impart to my students. Whoever my students are coming out over here, I don't take all the lectures, my trainers take it, but yes, at least I make sure I give them 4 to 5 lectures so that they understand what exactly the cybersecurity is and what exactly they have to do. There are courses from EC Council, there are courses from eLearn, there are courses from Mile2, there are courses from OffSec. You see, bundle of courses.
That's what I'm saying. The bouquet of courses are available. It becomes so difficult to select the right one.
Right. It is just a matter, if you are coming from any cybersecurity domain, you just, whenever I consult any student, I take career guidance also. So whenever I consult student, just ask 2-3 questions by yourself. Why you want to do it? What domain you are specifically selecting? Which certifications then you want? Get domain specific certificate, get your interest like developed in that domain, and then go for the certification. That will give you job, that will give you money, that will give you stable income.
Thanks, Yasir. Definitely will get back to you. Appreciate the inputs.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yasir. Thanks all participants. Yes, the feedback poll has ended, and wonderful comments on chat as well. So thanks all. Have a wonderful evening. Yeah. Take care. See you next week. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.